Oh, it's good to be alive. It's good to be alive. Feeling good, feeling great. Feeling great, feeling good. How are you? Welcome into Timeline T. I'm your host, D. Sam D, aka San Duzume Jr. Oh boy. Oh boy. A point guard leads a 39-year-old washed up point guard? Is that what we're doing? Cool story, bro. Oh man, gotta love these point guards. Such a facilitator. He needs a man that the Washington Wizards don't even want. Saw a tweet that said 3 Hall of Fame guards on one team. Glad they said that. Glad they said that. AB in the building. What's good, AB? You know what type of time we have to be on. The point fraud breaking news is on his way to the Bay. So he's gone from the desert to Chocolate City to the Bay, all within about a week. Thus the life of a 38, 39-year-old journeyman that's out here pushing a book in the streets. Did his son had to text him about this trade? Is that how he found out about this one? His son had to text him on the PJ? Okay. Oh boy. We got some things to get off our chest today. Y'all know what it is. We're not gonna waste too much time. Thank y'all for the likes as y'all pull up. Oh. Let's go ahead, bro. Y'all see it. Golden State is sending Jordan Poole, a protected first-round pick in 2030. That's how far out these picks gotta be, because they just keep flipping them out. A first-round pick in 2030 and a second-rounder in 2027 to the Warriors for the point fraud. In addition to that, they're sending Ryan Rollins to Washington as part of the Poole point fraud deal. That's probably the most problematic part out of all of this. The Warriors have been stockpiling all these youngins that are supposed to be a buffer, a barrier to bridge the gap from when the old heads from this first Warriors run are put out the pasture. These youngins are supposed to supplant these old heads. But now we got them first with James Weissman, traded him for 5 second rounders so you could go get Glove Jr. Now you're out here taking another one of those picks, Ryan Rollins, who can go, by the way. You're going to flip him with Jordan Poole, who, again, you should have never had to supplant anyway because you should have took LaMelo. So now you've had to double and triple down to clean up the mess of not doing the smart thing off rip and taking LaMelo, a point guard, by the way. You had to do all of this just to clean up the mistake of not taking LaMelo. You took Weissman, he was never a fit, flip him for 5 second rounders to go get Glove Jr. back, and even that couldn't get you over the hump last year. Couldn't even get past the Lake Show, who got swept by the Nuggets. You wagered all those picks, even though it's 5 second rounders. You turned a number 2 overall pick into 5 second round picks and then turned that into a Glove Jr. You're now taking Ryan Rollins, who can hoop. And you're going to flip him for a 39-year-old point fraud? How is this going to work? We're going to have a top 5 point guard and a point fraud in the same backcourt? Oh, wait, hold up. That's right. He's not a point guard. So much so that they had to go trade for a washed point guard just to help bridge the gap for another year for this old ass squad to try to squeeze out one more Larry O.B. That's the type of time we're on. We've got a bunch of guards that are in the back half of their careers that are trying to hang on to their relevance. We got Dame up in the PDX Rip City hanging on to his relevance, not wanting to admit that Scoot is the future. Now he's using man's Chris Haynes to push the narrative. Oh no, Marcus Spears, my bad. Marcus Spears to push a narrative. Oh, Dame and Scoot have actually been communicating. Well, if that's the case, why the hell is he trying to get Bam out of bio? Guess what, Dame? You can't have Bam without trading Scoot. So if you're so close and so inclined and you're having conversations with Scoot, then why the hell are you trying to push your squad to go get Bam or PG or Zion or anybody else? Because none of those moves can happen without trading that third pick, which will be Scoot, unless you're believing the tea about Brandon Miller slipping the 3 now and the Hornets seriously considering taking Scoot at 2. Be that as it may, the bottom line here is that there's a lot of guards who are out here trying to stretch their window, and it doesn't matter. We have 2 guards, one an actual point guard in the point fraud, and another one that's just a guard in Steph Curry, who's just a small shooting guard. Both of them are trying to extend their windows. The 2 that used to battle go back and forth, mano a mano, not that long ago, maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago, are now going to be in the same backcourt, old as hell, trying to make one last run to a Larry O.B. You have got to be shitting me that we are at this point. This front office that revolutionized basketball, if you let them tell it, that have Bob Myers sneak out the back door. Because Bob Myers didn't want to be the one to have to tell the habitual nut hitter and Clay, your time is up, bruh. So guess what? I'm going to leave it to the next one. Mike Dunleavy, welcome, sir. You now have to extend the habitual nut hitter and Klay Thompson, both who should be let out the door. Because there was supposed to be reinforcements on that bench because you've been drafting sneakily well the last 2 years. But no, because the guard on the team, the lead guard on the team, not a point guard, the lead shooting guard on the team, Steph Curry says, we need to run it back one more again. Now we got to get rid of the dudes that we brought here to help supplant you. Now we got to flip these dudes to now help bridge the gap for another year of mediocrity and no more than a second round exit next year. Nothing about this move says, oh, they're back now. This is akin to the Bradley Beal move. It's a nothing move. It's just a move of a name. A notable name goes to a team that has notable stars on it, and we're supposed to go crazy when it gets them no closer to a Larry O.B. You think Jokic has his alert set? He's out there in Serbia with the horses. He could give 2 shits about this move. The teams that matter, do you think they give a shit that the point fraud is now a Golden State Warrior? This is a nothing move for an organization that had a very small window to actually revolutionize basketball if they could have actually did the succession plan. But because, just like Succession in the show, no one was willing to say the tough thing, Logan Roy didn't want to make the choice. He took it to the grave and he let the kids deal with it. Spoiler alert. Same shit here. Bob Myers walked away. I want nothing to do with it. Let them figure it out. And the them is Lacob and now Mike Dunleavy. And just like how we saw towards the end of Succession, the kids are fucking this up. Y'all gonna have to explain me the relevance of this. I know they wanted to get out from the Jordan Poole contract because they foolishly had to pay him. Okay? To get him right, after getting that one hit quitter by the habitual nut hitter, they gave him his money to shut him up. That could have been a legal case, low key. Especially once dude who no longer works for the organization leaked that video to TMZ. So they basically paid Jordan Poole off. Here, take this extension. We know you don't deserve it, but we didn't expect the habitual nut hitter to give you a one-hitter quitter. So go ahead and take this bag. Allegedly. And after this past performance, we knew he got to go. But the problem is, he should have never been a factor in the first place because you should have took LaMelo. You could have had LaMelo be an actual point guard, and you could have had Steph off the ball. Because how's this going to work with the point fraud? You're going to run 3-guard lineup? They're going to go ultra small? You're going to run the point fraud, Steph, Clay, Wiggins, and the habitual nut hitter? Is that going to be the 5? Is that supposed to be the lineup of death like 5, 6, 7 years ago? Positionless basketball, interchangeable pieces? Is that what that's supposed to be? Is that where we at right now? Bruh. Scrub Zero in the house was good. The Warriors are crashing and burning fast. Bruh, I love this shit. I love it. I love it. I love it because this is something where this organization was telling the world they knew all of this was coming. They knew what Steph was going to be. They knew what Clay was going to be. They knew what positionless basketball was before it was even invented, even though it was invented prior in Phoenix. And you could even say with older Golden State Warrior teams prior to the Mark Jackson Warrior teams. Okay? Now, we have the fact of they have tricked off Weissman. They have tricked off Jordan Poole. They have compounded the issues move by move by move. You take LaMelo, you never take Weissman. You never have to flip Weissman for the 5 second-round picks, which turns out to be Glove Jr., which then elevates Jordan Poole, and you have to foolishly give him the bag because a habitual nut hitter gives him a one-hitter quitter. Now because you gave Jordan Poole foolishly and started him with a bag, now you got to get rid of him once he proves to be Jordan Poole. At least Ice Spice got that bag out of him. Allegedly. Now you have another compounded interest by having to now use Ryan Rollins, who was supposed to be one of those guys that bridged the gap. Now you got to use him to go get you a guy that they really don't have a use for, but because they have no options, because they don't want to give up Kuminga, even though, sorry, Perky's not 7'2". They don't want to give up Kuminga. Allegedly, Baldwin Jr. has been thrown around, but nothing serious as of yet. But who knows? The night is early. We will be here live streaming a few minutes before the draft starts. So if you got time, pull up for the kickback, the NBA draft kickback, 7:55. We're going to go live here on the channel. But this is where all of this comes to roost. All the chickens are coming home to roost. The Weissman thing leads to the Glove Jr. thing, which leads to elevating Jordan Poole, which then now has you going and leveraging one of the youngins who was supposed to build the bridge to the next generation for the point fraud? Bruh. I don't want to hear it, man. I don't want to hear it. You're going to have NBA people try to spin this and throw the little graphs up of super team and all that bullshit, but bruh, I don't want to hear it. I do not want to hear it. Scrub Zero, it's the death lineup, all right. Death for the Warriors. I mean, dog, like the point fraud might actually fall out there. He might actually fail out there. Like he might actually fall down and go boom and never get up. Never get up. This is where we at right now. They had a chance to really fortify this organization and move it forward, and they couldn't do it. High Road Radio in the house. Salute, salute. I already know. I can't believe we are going to be sitting here and going to be forced to watch the point fraud, the two-time MVP with trash-ass ankles and Steph Curry, and Clay when they're all washed. Do we need to go and look up numbers of what these guys have done over the last few years? Let's go ahead and look up the Warriors. What about this roster adding the point fraud makes you think they're any better? Take off Jordan Poole, right? Somehow he's listed as a point guard. We know he's not, right? Now you're going to add in the point fraud. You're losing Ryan Rollins, who, hello, point guard as well. And if you watched him in college, an actual guy who can play the position of point guard. So now they're down to how many youngins now? They're down to Kuminga, Moody, and Patrick Baldwin Jr. This is a sad state of affairs. This is a sad, sad, sad state of affairs. Let's see if Shams got anything else. Let's see. Let's see if Shams got anything else. Nothing from an hour ago. Let's go ahead to NBA Central. I'm sure they'll have a little graphic up. Let's go ahead to NBA Central. Oh, yeah, there's an update for that Bradley Beal trade. We'll get to that. See, here we go. Here we go. See, the hot takes are going. 3 Hall of Fame guards. Emphasis on guards because there's only one point guard in this picture on one team. You know what it is. So if we want to get into the other story, and as you see here, how about your Jordan Poole? You thought you were going to be a splash cousin, and now you're in Washington, hooping with the squad that is strictly there for money laundering purposes. They are trying to cook the books with the Wizards. They are not for play. It's almost like Abe Poland is back. They are out here cooking the books. They're trying to get all the bread off the books when it comes to the Washington Wizards. We got Bill up out of there. We got Porzingis up out of there, which I thought was going to be the lead story until this point fraud for Jordan Poole thing popped off. It is a lot going on when it comes to the NBA right now. And oh, by the way, the draft is tonight. And Dame is using his media influencers to talk his talk for him. We didn't even get the Porzingis yet. We didn't even get the Dame hardcore yet. There's a lot to get into. But as of right now, the big story, the Warriors trading Jordan Poole, Ryan Rollins, and just a bunch of fluff for the point fraud, who is clearly washed. How washed is the point fraud? Let's go ahead and dissect the point fraud one more again before we slide over to the Porzingis deal. You see what it is here last year, 14 points, 4 boards, 9 assists, 44% from the floor, 37.5% from 3, so on and so forth. Well, Sam, those are good numbers, bro. Those are good numbers, Sam. Okay, sure. Let's go ahead and really dissect the numbers, though. Let's go ahead and advance it forward, advance the conversation forward, advance the metrics forward, shall we? Let's go ahead to the advanced analytics. The Warriors are an organization that hold themselves with high regard when it comes to advanced analytics, right? All right. Offensive win share, right? The higher the number, the better. You see, third year in his career, he led the league in offensive win shares. Double digits is top tier, right? Funny how, as he's gotten older, the numbers just keep diminishing. 9, 8, 8, 4, 6, 7, 6. Last year, a 4. Again, that's just offensive win shares because we know the defense is bad, right? We know the defense is bad. You see, the defense is nowhere near the top of anything, right? And if you want to go into win shares, his third year in the league might have been his best year from an analytics standpoint. 18 win shares. That's a really high number. But again, the older he has gotten, those numbers have diminished all the way down to a 6 last year, which is the lowest of his entire career. So again, you're trading for a man that's going to be 38 years old. This is what you're getting. How many of y'all are on that VORP wave? The VORP is the lowest of his career. Categorically, across the board, it was the worst season of his career by real metrics, not just the cookie cutter numbers that everyone likes to quote. Look beneath the real numbers, look beneath the surface numbers to the real numbers. Let's go ahead if we can get to the, where is it? I might have passed it. Scrub zero, copy and please. Good numbers for the point fraud until you give it context. Correct. Okay, 112, where the players dwell. Let's get this moved over. Nope, get that out of there. Gotta get these windows figured out. All right, 112 on the defensive rating. 112. Highest of his career? Yes, highest of his career. You're sacrificing a lot by bringing in this point fraud right now. That's all I'll say. All right? So we'll move on. Porzingis. The hell are the Grizzlies doing? The Grizzlies allegedly are out here trying to give Ja Morant a mentor in Marcus Smart for Ja Morant. The Grizzlies are out here trying to replace Dillon Brooks with Marcus Smart. And while in name recognition, that's an upgrade, in playing style, is that big of an upgrade? Enough to facilitate two first round picks? You needed Marcus Smart that bad, you're going to give up 2 first round picks? And you're giving up Tyus Jones, who I understand you probably weren't going to bring back or doesn't fit into the long-term future. The Celtics, I got to give it up. I mean, it's almost to the point of levels, but the boy genius cooked the Grizzlies in this trade. Absolutely, positively cooked the Grizzlies in this trade to get the Latvian world star, Kristaps Porzingis, and a couple picks. So I do a 3-team trade and I get the best player in the trade and 2 future firsts, including the 25th pick tonight. The fuck is Memphis thinking here? I don't understand what the Grizzlies' mindset is on this deal. Because to give up a couple of picks, you throw in Tyus Jones to make salaries work because, again, the Wizards are out here money laundering. But you want Marcus Smart that bad? You're going to give up 2 first-round picks to help facilitate the Celtics getting Kristaps Porzingis? This, to me, is a trade that for Memphis, this is a really ignorant move. I think there were better guards that would have been a better fit, that would have been cheaper than going out here and leveraging 2 future first-round picks, including the 25th pick tonight, for some damn Marcus Smart. What is he supposed to do? You're so worried about losing the defense of Dillon Brooks that you're going to go bring in Marcus Smart? Is it that much of an upgrade that is worth giving up 2 future firsts? And I know, yes, in theory, those will most likely be low future firsts, but still, I don't think this move makes them that much better that is worth to give up 2 future firsts. And the Celtics make out like bandits. I get the best player in the deal and 2 future picks that I could leverage down the road. Insane. Scrub zero, Clay, not the way Thompson, Steph, sus ankles, Curry, and the point fraud. The words keep shooting themselves in the foot at every opportunity. Yeah, this organization really needs to be examined. All them labels that were given to them, ridiculous. All them labels all the praise that was heaped upon them, absolutely ridiculous. They did nothing but just luck into Steph and Clay. And then they rode that thing as far as they could. And honestly, they got even luckier last year to squeeze out one more Larry O.B. That tricked them into fool's gold. There's a key in knowing when it's time to quit while you're ahead. There's a time to know when it's time to bounce. Unfortunately, the Warriors are letting Steph tell them when it's time to move on. Because he's saying, let's run it back one more year. I can't sign. If I'm the Warriors, you're not going to be able to sign the habitual nut hitter to just a 1-year deal. You're going to have to give him a 3 to 4 year deal. Clay wants an extension right now. You're not going to be able to just give him a 1-year extension. So Wardell, when you tell the Warriors you want to run it back, that means I have to now give these dudes who are past their prime multi-year extensions. That's bad business. For an organization that's always in the luxury tax, but because the stadium prints money, they're cool with it. That tide is going to turn at some point. That shift is going to happen at some point where the means don't justify the ends. That's coming up real soon if they maxed out the habitual nut hitter and they extend Clay. That's a real thing. Untamed Music in the house was good. CP coming off the bench. The point fraud coming off the bench. Okay. Still, to me, that doesn't, okay, you have Poole gone, right? So you have the point fraud. He's going to run with who? That's why the fit to me is really weird here. You bring the point fraud off the bench, that's fine, right? But ultimately, you're still going to run back to Splash Brothers, Wiggins, the habitual nut hitter, and Looney? No improvements whatsoever? That squad that just got beat by the Lake Show with a revamped roster right after the trade deadline. Took care of them, light work. You're going to run that same squad back that's another year older? And your big key addition is a 38, 39-year-old point fraud off the bench? That's going to get it done? Because, yes, you can bring him off the bench, but you know he's going to try to close out games. Point fraud is going to be on the floor because clearly the one guy keeps saying is a point guard, Steph Curry. He keeps showing propensities to have late game turnovers and trick it off. So now you're going to have an actual point guard in the point fraud who can close out games and maybe not throw behind the back passes in game 7s. So sure, he could come off the bench. That's fine. That's where he belongs. Low key, he shouldn't even belong in the league anymore at this point, but it's fine. At his salary, with his diminishing skill set, it's amazing that the Warriors were able or were willing to go out here and give up what they gave up. Yes, I understand. They wanted to get off the Poole money. That's fine. But to then throw in Rollins as well, sounds like something that the Portland Trailblazers might be forced to do later on tonight if Dame really holds firm. Where they're going to have to give up young pieces they don't want to have to give up just to appease an aging superstar. They already won 4, bro. Now all that's left is for Steph, Dre, and Clay to retire as Warriors and try to win the point fraud ring. If they fail, they fail. So be it. My thing is, it's not worth it. Why is this worth it? If the main thing was, I think they could have done this deal without Ryan Rollins. Because clearly, the Wizards weren't trying to pay the point fraud's contract. And it really should have been a salary dump for a salary dump. I'll take your bad contract, you take my bad contract. I'm fine if that's what the deal was. But throwing in Ryan Rollins, who is a 6'4" point guard, you could have had him run with the bench squad next year. If you're really trying to move on from the fact of Jordan Poole just ain't it, we need to get off that contract, fine. I'm okay with that. Now, that's the right move. You're trying to clean up the mess of the prior front office. But to compound it by throwing in a youngin who could do almost the same things at this point in his career as a diminishing in return point fraud, that's where you lose me. So the Celtics go out here and cook the Grizzlies. I mean, I've always been a big Latvian world star fan in Kristaps Porzingis. How does this fit with your man's Tatum and Brown? And does this mean now Brown's going to get his money? Is Jaylen Brown now going to get that 5-year, $290 million max contract, super max contract that we're all saying the Celtics should not give him? And if you look at these salaries for next year, Porzingis is the highest paid player on the team. Then you got Tatum, then you got Brown, Brogdon, and there's a lot going on with Brogdon. You know, there's some health issues that are being undisclosed at the moment. I've been told some things in group chats I won't put out there, but there's an issue going on there with Brogdon that's like for real. Then you got Derek White, and then you got Tom Lord, and you got Al Horford. And then again, $158.7 million for 7 players, and the luxury tax is only $162. Good luck to the ownership group of the Celtics with that. I'll tell you, who knows? Maybe they triple flip the point fraud. Maybe. I mean, I doubt it now. Because again, that's the thing. Like, you can puff past the point fraud all you want, but somebody's going to end up having to pay that man $30 million this year. And I think the Warriors, because of the fact that they're always in the tax anyway, in the luxury tax anyway, they could just go ahead and pay that because they're making so much bread off of that Chase Center that, you know, they can consider that a wash. I don't think there's too many other teams like that are in the league right now that can do that same type of movement. Celtics are going to be even more stagnant now. Well, they still don't have a point guard. I mean, they didn't have one last year. So, I mean, they got rid of a dude that was masquerading as a point guard, which is all the rage. Which is all the rage in this league. There's a bunch of guys that are being called point guards that are they're just, you know, short or small shooting guards masquerading as point guards. So I don't see this as being any more stagnant. I don't really see that much of a difference. If they can figure out whatever's going on with Brogdon, because we know he had the forearm issue in the playoffs, if they can get whatever else may or may not be going on with Brogdon figured out, then there's your point guard. And he's a real point guard. But if he's still going to have his issues heading into next season, then they're in the same spot they were last year because Marcus Smart was never a point guard. He was an undersized shooting guard, as is all these guys. No playmaker. I agree. But that's where Tatum is supposed to be that guy, right? Kobe never had a real point guard, right? He still found a way to make it work. Allen Iverson never had a point guard. He still found a way to make it work. Like, if you're one of those ISO dominant players, you don't need a point guard. Jordan never had a point guard. Not a real good one anyway. Still found a way to make it work. Like, if you're one of those, and Tatum keeps making us think he's one of those, the whole Mamba mentality, if you're one of those, then you don't really need a point guard to set you up. So maybe this is putting more onus. Maybe Joe Mazzulla, now with Sam Cassell on the bench next to him, maybe Sam Cassell, his main mission is let Tatum know it's his rock. I don't know why he wouldn't have known that prior, and maybe, you know, him and Marcus Smart, they weren't always here, okay? Just 2 years ago, when the Celtics made that run to the finals, they had that rough start, and heading into January, him and Tatum had beef. Actually, Smart had beef with Tatum and Brown, and he called them both out publicly about them not sharing the rock and getting everybody else involved. Because even though Marcus Smart was never a point guard, he was told so much by Boston to be the point guard that he actually tried to be that, even though that's not his bag. So if Tatum is one of those, then he shouldn't need a point guard. He could do the playmaking his damn self. Untamed Music, would you trade Jaylen Brown for Trey straight up? I think it helps both teams. Yuck. I would not. If I'm Atlanta, I'd do it because I'm not that high on Trae Young. Trae Young is another guy that's a shooting guard masquerading as a point guard. So if I'm the Hawks and I could get rid of him and I got DeJounte Murray and Jaylen Brown, I'd do that all day. But if I'm the Celtics, I don't know why I would ever do that. Because Trae Young is not a point guard either. He's a shooting guard masquerading as a point guard. So that doesn't answer your thing either. That doesn't answer your question either. Because the playmaking that Trae Young does is rim run. So he'll help out Time Lord. But that's probably about it. Tay is not built like that, though. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. I think the problem is Tatum thinks he is. He's on that Mamba mentality program. He's cosplay Kobe. So cosplay Kobe thinks he is on that type of time. He thinks he is built like that. And with the way that everything is structured, you're going to have Porzingis come in. I mean, maybe he's your third option. I mean, he could dribble with his left hand, though. So maybe he's the second option. Porzingis can dribble with his left hand. So if you have Tatum, Porzingis, and Jaylen Brown is now your third option, I like that squad because low-key, Porzingis has been cooking. And, yes, I know it was with Dallas, and, that failed because Luka is Slovenian hardened and doesn't want to pass the ball. But when they got to Washington, again, with no point guard, just him and Brad Beal, his efficiency was really good. Like you see, his efficiency in terms of shot percentage went up while in Washington. His three ball went up while in Washington. Effective field goal percentage was higher in Washington. So Porzingis could come in here. He's already shown he could be a competent number two. At his best, he's been a number two his whole career. Even that one All-Star year with the Knicks. Like, Porzingis can do this really easily. He's a double-double machine. So I think if you've got Tatum, the pick and roll game with him and Porzingis should be deadly. Because now you're not depending on the Al Horford corner three. Now you've got the Porzingis corner three, top of the key three, and then he's 7'2", 7'3", and he's driving to the rim and he's finishing at the rim. He's not going up soft. Like, let's see if we can do the shooting chart for Porzingis real quick. Oh, we're doing deep dives today. When we're doing shooting charts on Kristaps Porzingis, we outside. Let's see. Adjusted shooting. No, where is it? All right, I got to go to game logs. All right, there we go there. No, don't want to do that. We did that. Game logs. I thought they had this for the season. All right. Let's just take a prototypical Porzingis game, right? 32, yeah, let's see right here. Against Boston, they blew out Boston. That left a lasting impression. 32, 13, and 6 in a blowout dub over the Celtics. Let's see, shot chart. Same problem for the Celtics. Same problem that always happens with the Celtics. It was there in this game. A bunch of missed threes. All these missed threes, all in the corner. Muscala, Al Horford. I told you about them Horford corner threes. Brogdon, Tatum. More missed threes, all these missed threes. Meanwhile, Porzingis was out here doing what? Let's see. Bully ball. And he still gave you some threes, but he took them at his spots. No corner three bullshit, not forcing it. In the paint, dogs. Elbow, top of the key. I'm getting to the rim. That's something the Celtics do not have. Now, you add this type of post presence. Like, this is a post presence. The Celtics have not had that. Tom Lord's a rim runner. Al Horford is more of a Brook Lopez at this point in his career. You now put in a actual low post presence. That opens up lanes. That opens up lanes for Tatum. That opens up lanes for Jaylen Brown, assuming they keep him. Now you're talking about, it's not your traditional big three, but this to me is more of a big three than the Phoenix Suns big three. Because the Phoenix Suns big three is more of a dynamic duo than a big three. Bradley Beal is a low spade. There ain't no ace of spade. That ain't no little joker. It's a jack of spades. At the most, that's peak Bradley Beal is a jack of spades. I don't know how many of y'all play spades, but just saying. If you play spades, you get it. If you don't, then you know. Scrub Zero, you know good and well Tatum isn't him. That boy needs a point guard. I mean, look, man, I don't think Missoula, I don't see a point guard ending up there. Like, there was a brief conversation about the point fraud maybe finding his way up I-95 to Boston, but yeah, I don't think so. I don't think they're going to bring in a real point guard unless it's Brogdon. I mean, your man's Peyton Pritchard. Your man's Peyton Pritchard says, pay me, play me, or trade me. Maybe it's Peyton Pritchard. Scrub Zero, Tatum is still lying to himself. That boy better be calling for a real point. I'm telling you, unless it's Peyton Pritchard, I don't see it happening. Untamed Music, all I'm going to say is no one right now is going to out-talent that Nuggets team play. Well, and I think, Untamed, that's kind of my whole point, is that all these teams are making these moves of just names. And then the bottom line is Jokic is on a farm with some horses, not giving a fuck about any of this. Jokic is outside, not giving a fuck about what any of these teams do. All these teams are out here trying to make it happen. Tatum is eligible for a $318 million Supermax next year. As we've been talking about, Jaylen Brown, I thought it was $295 million Supermax next year. And then Porzingis can walk next year. So again, this is all or nothing for the Celtics. This to me is an actual big three in the East. Because you're looking at the Bucks that are diminishing, right? Chris Middleton opted out. It's not a guarantee he's going to come back. Drew Holiday says, I'm playing on my contract, which got 2 years left on it, and that's it. And there's no youngins there that are there to supplant those guys. So it's going to be in very short order. It's just going to be Giannis, the Nigerian freak, Antetokounmpo, and a bunch of dudes. So teams that we thought were going to have longevity, their windows are closing way sooner than we thought. Now, again, Porzingis is an expiring deal. So this is like a one-year flyer. But I think this right here could be the best iteration. Even better than them with Kyrie. Even better than them with IT3 and Gordon Hayward. This could be the best iteration of the Boston Celtics of the Tatum and Brown era. But it still ain't gonna win no chip though. It's just not gonna win. It's not gonna win a chip, man. Untamed Music, Pritch might be gone tonight. Yeah, he said he wants to be gone. But that was before Marcus Smart being dealt. And that was before the health issues with Malcolm Brogdon have been continuous. And it made the other deal that was on the table fall through, with the Clippers backing out. So now Peyton Pritchard is the healthiest point guard on the roster. Maybe now he doesn't want to be traded. Boy, Genius made sure I'm going to get all these non-point guards out of here to clear the way for Peyton Pritchard to start. We know what that's about. We know what that's about in Boston. We know what that's about. All right, so you had your man Shams was out here on McAfee, and he's letting you know that Marcus Smart did not see that trade coming until the Celtics notified him 10 to 15 minutes before. I mean, that's the nature of this league, right? The point fraud is finding out he got traded, allegedly finding out from his son texting him while he's on the plane. It's the way it is, man. Script 0, the window for the Celtics to win a ring is closed. Closed? I won't say closed, right? I think if you look at, because again, we don't know what's going to happen, including tonight, in regards to what trades could happen tonight. If the Bucks bring back Chris Middleton, you give them a puncher's chance. Philly is looking like the beard might come back. That doesn't mean anything to me. Philly can't win the East. Cleveland, they have names that could win the East, but with them not making any deals yet, and again, all this shit is pending free agency and whatnot, so we're all spitballing right now. None of us know anything right now. But just projecting forward, assuming these teams stand relatively pat. Milwaukee, you give them a puncher's chance to run the East again. Philly, Beard and Embiid should be enough to still be, a top 5 team in the East. Cleveland, with the names that they have, again, they should be around this 3 to 6 range again next year. Knicks tape is Knicks tape. They don't factor in this. Miami, you would assume, would be higher up. They probably swap spots with Knicks tape. Brooklyn, I mean, unless you think Mikal Bridges is going to be on some MVP shit or some SGA type shit, which he could be, I don't see them being able to replicate a 6 seed. The Hawks, if they, all their guys are available except Trae Young, allegedly. Like, the only dude that they're not putting on the table is the dude who I think they should be moving, which is hilarious to me. The fact that DeJounte Murray's name has been out there, DeAndre Hunter's name's been out there, and John Collins' name's been out there. But the Trae Young thing is kind of like not really being thrown out there is madness to me. Absolutely madness. So only because, Scrub Zero, I'm saying their window is not closed, because I don't know who else in the East is up there with them next to Milwaukee. Boston right now can still beat Philly. They could still beat Cleveland. They could still beat the Knicks. Like, they can probably, with Porzingis, I give them a really good chance against Miami now. Like, I think that's why their window is not closed, because they could still theoretically come out the East. But it's next to closed. Like, it ain't, the window ain't that open. Untamed music, oh, you're right. Now, Preach might say, there's no other PGs. There's no other PGs. Absolutely no other PGs. So if I'm Pritch, I'm laying low. I'm laying low, like, hey. Forget all that stuff I said, right after we got eliminated. All right, let's see what else we got here. So like I said, Brogdon, this is according to Brian Windhurst, who's been making the rounds. Brogdon has a health issue that, as I understand, is so significant that not only can the Celtics not do this trade, there's probably no Malcolm Brogdon trade that they can do in the short term. So yeah, I've had similar things. I've read similar things in group chats. So, yeah, something real is going on there with Brogdon. And it's unfortunate because he's an actual point guard. He's a defense. He's what they want. He's what they thought they were going to be able to convince Marcus Smart to be, is what Malcolm Brogdon already is. It's just, he's just not healthy. Okay, so getting into the Marcus Smart thing even deeper when it comes to Grizzlies, your man's Jay Williams. He's everything the Grizzlies need. A guy like Marcus Smart is a seasoned vet that will change your locker room. Ja Morant needs somebody that he can respect, that can look him in the face and say, what the hell are you doing? Bro, this is the silliest take of the day. The fuck is Marcus Smart gonna say to Jay Williams that Steven Adams hasn't said already? Who do you think is more intimidating, or who conjures up more respect in a locker room? Marcus Smart or Steven Adams? And if you need a reminder of Steven Adams, he ain't from here. He's from New Zealand and he's 6'10". He walks around like a fucking pirate. They said he wears sandals year round. Year round. That includes winter. If that doesn't conjure respect, ain't no damn green-haired Marcus Smart gonna conjure up respect either. So this is just a silly narrative to float out there to try to make sense of a deal that doesn't make sense. The Grizzlies got fleeced in this deal, and it doesn't make sense. They could giving up 2 future firsts just for some damn Marcus Smart. Like, it's really a problematic deal. Scrub Zero, I still don't trust the 2 Scottie Pippens there. Maybe if they move one of them, things could change. I just don't see it making a difference. I'm going the other way. I think if you adding in a Porzingis, if he can give you 19 and 11 from the 4 spot, assuming you still got Time Lord, because now Horford, what do you do with Horford? Horford comes off the bench? Or are they going to be dumb and make Time Lord come off the bench because he's been battling through injuries that they kind of forced him to fight through these last few years? Like, I start Porzingis and Time Lord, and I dare somebody to come to the paint. Get that Al Horford corner 3 bullshit. You're not Brook Lopez. You don't have the defensive acumen like Brook Lopez until you play Joel Embiid. You got him on lock, but when you play the other bigs, no. More J. Will. I think Porzingis unlocks Tatum and Brown. I think it's an opportunity to own what it takes to lead an actual team. I actually think they defer the moments of toughness to the likes of Marcus Smart. Again, I don't know what this last part means, defer the moments of toughness. So like they gave the ball up to Marcus Smart. You can say that about Jaylen Brown. You can't say that about cosplay Kobe. You can't say that about cosplay Kobe. And I don't know what you unlock in Jason Tatum. So yeah, just weirdo shit. Let's see. Scrub Zero. I'd sooner listen to Grizzly Adams than Marcus Smart. Yeah, I mean Steven Adams that's not someone to fuck with, bro. And again, the whole Denver strip club thing popped off right after Steven Adams spoke to the team, which was subliminally aimed at Ja and said, we have to be more professional on the road. And nigga man's Ja ran out there to the private Denver strip club, dropping racks all over the place and waving a gun on IG. So now they think Marcus Smart is going to stop him from doing that. Marcus Smart will probably be in the spot with him. Weirdo shit. Team Music Game 6 is a perfect example of what Jay said. Sure, but I don't think I don't believe in that, and I'll tell you why. Yes, Game 6 happened, but then what happened Game 7? If we're talking about the same Game 6. Well, no, we can't be, because the Game 6 I'm talking about is when Tatum had to save them. So you're talking about Game 6 in the next series. You're talking about Game 6 against the Heat? I think ultimately this is a talking point, but to me, Tatum is who he is. He's apex. There's no unlocking. Tatum is cosplay Kobe. That's it. Hard stop. Jaylen Brown is a right-hand dominant second or third option. You're bringing in Porzingis, who can dribble with both hands, and could be a double-double monster as a second option. Now that brings Jaylen Brown down to being a third option, and I think that's more of a comfortable spot of where Jaylen Brown should be because he can't go left and damn sure can't dribble with his left. So when the book is out, then yeah, you need to find somebody better than that person to take over as the number 2. Jaylen Brown's been exposed the last 2 postseasons. So you need someone who is better than him. And, I mean, do people understand that Kristaps Porzingis, the Latvian world star, is better than Jaylen Brown? I hope people understand that. Like if Jaylen Brown's going to go out here and get the supermax at 295 mil, Porzingis has the same type of, like, his numbers are probably better, low key. $23-8. I mean, I think Jalen's probably around that same 27-7. Okay. A few more points. Okay. But I mean, low key, give me Porzingis right now. I've seen enough from Jaylen Brown. I've seen enough of the frailties. I'm good. All right, so we have that done. All right, can we slide? We'll sneak in some Dame stuff here. There's been some reporting that is being done. This was as of yesterday. Now, there's been no one else that's jumped out the window to say this directly. But I'm just going to put it out here. Y'all could take it for what it is. No, it's not one of your traditional blue check boys, but it is someone that's in the sports media industry that has had some info that's been leaked, that has been factual later on. So just putting it out there. Untamed, you're being optimistic? I mean, all right, man. I mean, look, I'm not a fan of any team, but I love, tearing down the Celtics, but I'm just seeing the fact of in the East is weak right now. So to me, the East is like bringing in a guy like Porzingis as your second option, moving Jaylen to your third. I think that's really good in the East. Now, is that going to do anything against Denver? Potentially. Not going to beat Denver, but it could be a good matchup. If you face Phoenix, is that a good matchup? Sure. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think, again, unless there's some deals that happens to really shake things up, who else is really, like, okay, Untamed, who are you legitimately concerned about in the East? Yes, I know you lost to Miami. But now with Porzingis, you're still concerned about Miami? You can't be concerned about Philly. And even if Milwaukee brings back Chris Middleton, you're scared to death of the Bucks? Like, who are you concerned about in the East? Scrub Zero, Jaylen Brown is number 3. That's better than him as a number 2. Porzingis is the better player. Right. Yeah. But I mean, I think in that scenario, Jaylen Brown is clearly the third option. Now, I hope Missoula has that conversation with Jaylen Brown. That's a conversation that has to be had. Now, they can defer and make Porzingis be the third. I don't like that. You don't bring in a guy that's a 20-plus guy, that's a double-double guy, and now he's a third option. Especially when you're doing that for a guy that can't go left and can't dribble with his left. I'm talking about championship odds. I mean, well, look, you have to come out the East to be able to win a championship, and I think the East is kind of down. I'm concerned about the young Cavs. You should not be. You should not be concerned about no damn Cavs. You should not be concerned about the Cavs. Like, yes, it was year one, and I think JB learned some hard lessons, especially in the postseason with some of his rotations. But unless they make some deals tonight, their cap space isn't the greatest. I don't know who they can sign. I think they'll have, I think LeVert might be coming off the books. So that's one salary, but Jared Allen, he's not going to put on that much weight between now and next year. I mean, he admitted to being shaky in the light in the postseason. He literally said the lights were too bright. I don't know how much that changes next year. Donovan Mitchell, he's at his peak. I don't see Donovan Mitchell getting any better. He is at his apex. Now, Garland has some room for improvement. Okoro, if he could ever develop a jumper, he could be a guy. Mobley, again, he's another one that has room to grow, but it's not guaranteed that's going to happen next year. So I wouldn't be worried about the Cavs yet. But outside of that, bro, like, it's the Bucks. I'll throw in Cleveland if you want, but I truly don't believe that. You know what? I can't do that. The Bucks, if you want to still talk the Heat shit, okay, fine. Especially if they get Dame, if we're to believe what Jack is saying over here. But the Bucks, the Heat, if Harden comes back to Philly, they're a threat, but not really. Like, nah, man. The East is... The Celtics are always going to be up here because they have two of the better players in the East, and they just stole another guy from one of the teams in the East that's a really good player. You got three of the better players. Like, their front court. Like, the wings that they have with Porzingis now in the mix, like, it's a big three, bro. In the East, it's a big three. Zero Mozilla got to go to Brown like he do to the media. I would love to see that. If he has the scrunched up face with the arched eyebrows, then maybe. But maybe. Untame, I think Mobley explodes onto the scene. I mean, he had a really good year last year. He was like Jared Allen. He got the lights were too bright in the playoffs. He got bully balled by Julius Randle. He got bully balled by Mitch Robb. Like, I mean, definitely not Obi Toppin. I mean, he didn't get bullied by because Obi was barely on the floor. Obi trying to talk his way out of New York. But I don't think you need to worry about Evan Mobley next year. Like, and even if you do, right? That's why you got Porzingis. Like, you got Tom Lord and Porzingis. Porzingis is still really good defensively, and Tom Lord is Tom Lord. So I like that. I like Porzingis and Tom Lord better than Mobley and Jared Allen, because Jared Allen showed himself to really just not be prepared. All right, so we got allegedly Dame requesting a trade, but that was as of yesterday, okay? That was as of yesterday. No one that is allegedly a credible media source has confirmed it, just showing it to y'all that it's been out there. And now we got Brian Windhurst. The Trailblazers have indicated that they're going to draft. Damian Lillard has indicated on the record that he does not want to play in a youth movement. Teams are preparing their offers for what happens. So it's low-key kind of confirming this part right here. But anyway, the Blazers should keep the number 3 pick tonight. The Blazers should not give in to Damian Lillard. It would be a really bad move and set the franchise back if they try to do to a higher level of what the Warriors just did with the point fraud. They are trying to acquiesce Steph Curry. They go and trade for a washed 38, 39-year-old point fraud. The Blazers are lining up potentially to do the same thing to appease Damian Lillard. They're going to trade Anthony Simons, Shaedon Sharpe, and the rights to either Scoot Henderson or Brandon Miller, whoever is there at 3, all for whomst? Zion? Paul George? Bam Adebayo? None of those guys are worth the three young players they would have to give up and forfeit. None of them. None of them. So trade Dame. Keep Scoot or Brandon Miller, whoever it is at 3, because it was thought to be Scoot, but now there's been some late movement. If you believe the narratives of the sports books changing their odds, the odds are now that Scoot is going to go number 2, or the odds for Brandon Miller have reduced greatly. Whatever it is, whoever it is at 3, build around Anthony Simons, Shaedon Sharpe, whoever you get at 3 and whatever haul you get for trading Dame. It's just that simple. This shit doesn't have to be this hard. It doesn't have to be all this back and forth in the media playing, sources games. The Blazers should know it's time. That's what it's time for. It's time to move on from Dame. And then this was the Clippers deal with Malcolm Brogdon. There's concerns by the Clippers about Malcolm Brogdon's injury status, so that's why that trade didn't go down. Let's see what else we got here. Yep, like I was telling y'all, Scoot Henderson is gaining serious momentum at number 2 with the Charlotte Hornets in tonight's draft. The Hornets have been torn over the last week between Henderson and Brandon Miller. Team has final meetings today to settle on a decision. Now, with the thing with Jordan, right? The thing with Jordan is there were reports that came out yesterday that said that Jordan's going to make the final call on this pick. Jordan is selling the majority interest of this team, bro. And I was on here, what day was that, Monday or Tuesday? I think it was Tuesday. I was out here saying, yo, if I'm the new ownership group for the Hornets, as good as Brandon Miller could be, that's not going to sell tickets. What's going to sell tickets is Scoot. Pairing LaMelo Ball with Scoot Henderson, that's box office. And while the team might still not be good, we're going to be exciting. With Scoot and LaMelo Ball, that's exciting. That's highlights, that's all types of alleys, crossovers, behind the back shit, yams. That's all that. That's all of that is happening. So much like Ishbia in Phoenix, who was out here making big splashes and trading for names and trying to sell that we got a super team. If I'm the new Hornets owner, Brandon Miller is a good pick, but he's a safe pick. He's a safe 6'8", 6'9" guy. He already said Paul George is his GOAT. To me, that's all the reason not to take him number 2. Don't be out here telling me Paul George is your GOAT, bruh. When I got the number 2 pick, and you telling me Pandemic P is your GOAT, do not do it, bruh. Anywho, Scoot might go number 2. And I think it would be wise for Charlotte to greatly consider it, because that's a dynamic backcourt. You got 2 facilitating point guards in the backcourt, and LaMelo can shoot, and Scoot is out there working with Steph Curry, learning how to shoot. That could be the new Splash Brothers. Think about it. LaMelo and Scoot in the same backcourt. If Scoot develops to Jimmy, long range, assuming LaMelo comes back, and then they still got Book Night. If he's right in the head off the court, we know what Book Night was trending to be. Like, the Hornets are sitting on something there, pause, that if everyone is healthy and everyone plays their position, that could work. Now, Brandon Miller fits in nicely as well, because then you could go LaMelo, Book Night, and Brandon Miller. So that can work too. But I think sometimes you got to think outside the box. Sometimes you got to think outside the box. And I think if you got Scoot sitting there, Scoot is the second best player in this draft. I feel that. Scoot is the second best player in this draft. You put him with LaMelo, that shit could be fireworks next year. Untamed. If I'm Portland, I'm going all in with the young assets. Win or lose, I'm going with Cats or Pascals or some stuff like that. Whew. I'm with you on the first part. I'm trying to understand the second part. I'm going with Karl Anthony Towns or Siakams. What do you mean? To like trade Dame there, or trade Dame for that? Because if I'm Portland, I don't want no parts of either one of those two. I'm going to send Dame to Miami. Go give me Tyler Hero and whoever else. I mean, you can probably Who else got assets? I still think that Brooklyn deal. If I'm Portland, I'll send Dame to Brooklyn for Mikal Bridges and some pieces. Imagine Bridges with Scoot. Again, assuming Brandon Miller goes too. Scoot, Mikal Bridges, Shaedon Sharpe, Anthony Simons, and then they're debating whether to bring back Jeremy Grant or they got Nurkic or whatever. Like, it's a lot of ways to make it happen. It's a lot of ways to make it happen. Script Zero, it's not rocket science. It's not even computer science. Trade Dame and go forward. Yeah, I can't wait till this is over, bro. I hope it gets like finished tonight. Like, I hope we find out whatever happens at 3 is just done. Like, keep Scoot or keep Brandon Miller and build and just be done with it. Untamed, trade the young ass for those types. Okay, all right. I mean, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. Because that Dame and Siakam ain't doing shit in the West. Dame and Cat ain't doing shit in the West. Untamed. Going all in for a loyal dude who done all he can. I mean, that's cool. And they have paid him for his loyalty. That don't mean they got to ride it out and trade their youth away to appease him. Like, players love to say, you know, this is a business. Well, these teams definitely know it's a business as well. There's no way I'm giving up 3 top-tier prospects for no damn Pascal Siakam. There's absolutely no way I'm doing that. There's absolutely, positively no way I'm doing that. No way, bro. No way. I'm supposed to give up Shaedon Sharpe, Anthony Simons, and potentially Scoot for Karl Anthony Towns? What? Nah. If I'm Portland, I love you, Dame, but no, I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna hemorrhage my franchise for no damn Pascal Siakam and old Karl Anthony Towns or even Zion. No. Abdiel in the house, Brooklyn won't trade Bridges. They should. If Dame wants to come there, they should. Bridges ain't that untouchable. Untamed reminds me of Paul Pierce's situation in Boston before the Big Three. Well, I mean, I'll leave the Boston piece up to you, but that was Kevin Garnett being stuck somewhere he was never going to win, and him and Ray Allen trying to convince each other if they really wanted to pull up to Boston. I just don't see that type of thing happening in Portland, though. MDL BK will send filler for Dame? You ain't sending filler for no Dame. I mean, maybe you could get them to not trade Bridges, but then that means Cam Johnson. I mean, they're out here trying to get first round picks for Finney Smith. I think that's fucking insane. I mean, the Nets are out of control right now, but you know, they had the pieces people want, allegedly, so they get to hold it for hostage. I'm saying get 2 ballers, forget about Cat or Pascal. I'm saying make a big 3. But here's a problem, Untamed. Even if we let's give Dame, Zion, and Cat. You still think that's enough to get out the West? I'm giving Dame, Zion, and Cat. Is that enough to get out the West? So we can make any big 3 up you want. I'll give them Paul George and Cat. Dame, Paul George, Cat. You think Jokic gives a fuck about any of that? I don't think Jokic gives a shit about no damn Cat and no Paul George. Yeah, that's why Dame will want to come. Damian and Bridges are friends and have the same trainer. They want to play together. I mean, Dame's friends with all these dudes are friends with each other. Okay, because Dame and Adebayo are boys. Like all these dudes are friends. That's that part doesn't really register that much to me. The BK trade is for picks and the Miami trade is for Hero. I mean, sure, a lot of that is being reported. I don't know how much of that is actually factual. I'll tell you, not those two low. Well, I mean, you said just make a big three. Like, these are the dudes that are actually available. These are the people that we're talking about that are actually available. So we can either do, we will switch it up. Brandon Ingram, Karl Anthony Towns. Is that enough to get out the West? We'll leave Zion and all the nonsense to the side. I'll upgrade the deal. Brandon Ingram, Karl Anthony Towns. Is that enough to get out the West? Like, it's a playoff team, or at least it damn well better be, or Chauncey's gone. If you can't get that team to at least the goddamn top 8, you're gone. But is that going to do any damage to the playoffs? I don't see it. So that's kind of the thing with me. Like, no matter what configuration you give Dame, I don't feel like that's enough to leverage all those dudes. I'm giving up Shaedon Sharpe, who's got a really high ceiling at the wing position. I'm giving up Anthony Simons, who's putting up CJ McCollum numbers, and he's not getting paid like CJ McCollum. I'm giving up the draft rights to either Scoot or Brandon Miller. All for whomst? I don't know, bro. It's tough out here. I don't like a lot of it. And we can go ahead. Let's refresh and see if we got some fresh tea on the timeline. Let's see. Bronny James will wear 6 at USC. He's getting a 7-point mil in NIL deals, in case you haven't heard. Just as much to Abdiel's point, Brooklyn Nets not willing to accept number 3 pick in Anthony Simons. Cool story, bro. Here come your Cavs, Untamed. Here's your Cavs. Cavs are receiving trade offers for Jared Allen. None of the trade overtures have been appealing enough thus far, and the Cavs are telling rival teams thanks but no thanks. Some of the packages have involved multiple players. Others have been more pick-centric, allowing Cleveland to recoup some lost assets following last season's. Okay. So trading, they might be willing to give away Jared Allen for some picks, bruh. Untamed, you do not have to worry about Cleveland next year. I'm telling you. All right, so nothing going on there. Let's see what we got with Legion Hoops. Where is it? Legion Hoops. Just a reminder, we will be live here tonight for the first round of the draft. Pull up here, tap in. Oh, Brandon Miller. This is not a way to get drafted. This is not a way to get drafted number 2 overall. Brandon Miller says Michael Jordan airballed a free throw at the draft workout. That's not how you secured number 2, bruh. Maybe he's trying to tank his way to Portland? Trying to take his way to Dame? Are him and Dame friends? Look at your mans. He's trying to hot take his way to be next to Skip. Let's see. Untamed. At least something to give them a swinging chance, man. Dame wants to win with you, and who's to say these young Portland boys are ever going to get it done? It's all speculation with the youngins. Not really. Anthony Simons is 5 years in. He had to wait until they traded CJ McCollum, but the minute they traded CJ McCollum, he came in and cooked. Shaedon Sharpe flashed when he was given the opportunity to really get some run in the second half of the year. Shaedon Sharpe can go. Like, yes, he's a young player, so yes, he has to prove it, but I saw enough. And then you got Scoot. Scoot gonna be a problem, Untamed. Scoot gonna be a problem. I ain't trading those three for someone that's not in the same level as Dame. Like, we're talking about pairing Dame with second and third options. If you're really trying to help Dame, go get him somebody that's closer to his level. That's how you shake shit up. You don't give Dame another CJ McCollum type. You don't give Dame another Jeremy Grant type. Go get him someone that's of his caliber. And then let me see him go cook. And that's why people started throwing out there the Paul George shit. But Paul George is not on Dame's level. He proved that when he dotted that 3 in his eye and waved bye-bye to him. Abigail, Portland just got a rebuild. Chauncey should be able to grow into a good head coach without the pressure. I think they should do it, but we've seen crazier shit happen. I'm not sure if they'll do it. I feel bad for Chauncey. I said it Tuesday. I'll say it again. If they end up trading these 3 youngins or 2 of these 3 youngins for somebody who's a second or a third option, I would really reconsider continuing to be the coach of the Portland Trailblazers if I'm Chauncey Billups. I really would. Scoot going to be Russ 2.0? No, he won't. No, he won't. I mean, maybe if you're talking about in that he might win an MVP, sure. In the sense that he might be a Hall of Famer, it's quite possible. But if you mean someone that can't shoot, someone that teams are daring to shoot and could be game plan against, no, sir. No, sir. Let's see what else we got. Oh, no. Damn, we want to go to Legion. Stay on Legion. Let's see what else we got. I don't know if this is a compliment. Frank Vogel loves DeAndre Ayton, who reminds him of a more skilled Roy Hibbert. That just sounds like a weird headline to read in 2023. Let's see. I mean, sure. I mean, I think he has. That's been a lot of comparisons. The whole thing with Scoot is this, right? He's an athletic combo guard that has a lot of point guard skills. So he can do a lot of the same things Ja can do. He can do a lot of the same things that peak Russell Westbrook can do. He could do a lot of the same things physically that peak Derrick Rose could do. But the next layer of his game is that he can facilitate like Rondo. People keep looking past that. He wants to be a real point guard. Yes, he wants to take it to the rack and yam on people too, right? Like, don't get it twisted. But he also relishes dishing the rock and setting the plays up and pushing the tempo and gauging when to slow up and when to go. Like, I really watch Scoot. I think we're real people, well, not me. They, as in the media, the experts, even the people tonight, listen to how they talk about Scoot tonight. They're going to talk ad nauseum about his athleticism, how he's muscular, all that shit. What they're not going to key on too tough is the fact that he's a real point guard. That to me is what makes him extra special. There's a lot of athletic guards that can jump out the gym and got, big frames and all that type of shit. But having the basketball IQ to want to be a dude that can drop off the rock and rack dimes up, that's to me, that puts him in that type of tier to me. But, it is what it is. Let's see here. How much longer are we going to go? Because I do have something to do at 6 before we get set up for the stream. All right, we'll go another 10 minutes. I appreciate y'all for pulling up. If you haven't hit the like button already, the algorithm likes that, therefore I like it. So if you haven't dropped a like, I would appreciate it if you would. We'll be right back here 7:55 tonight for the start of the NBA draft watch along. Little kickback, NBA draft kickback. So pull up if you can. I'll be watching it. Y'all will be watching it. We can communicate in real time. Might have my guy Greg Larner from ESPN Radio pull up. You know, he might be in the chat. We might try to get his camera up so you can pull up and actually see him on the screen. We're trying to navigate that. But, you know, he was here for the NBA. He was here for the NFL draft, watch along, the kickback for the NFL draft. So that was dope. We'll see if he can pull up again. But yeah, man, make sure to pull up and do that. Thank you for hitting the like button. I do appreciate that. Let's see. There was an adjustment to that Bradley Beal trade, and there was some tweets that I saw that really spoke about how crazy it is, because the Phoenix Suns are not going to have any control of their draft picks until 2030. So Washington and Phoenix have finalized the Bradley Beal trade, landing the Wizards 6 second-round picks, so an additional second-round pick and 4 first-round pick swaps. In the end, the Wizards made 2 separate trades with the Suns and Warriors. Phoenix isn't looped into the Golden State deal. Okay, so I'm telling you, the Wizards are cashing out in their money laundering. If he has any little dash, excuse me, damn. If he has any little dash of Rondo's passing ability, I can't wait to see him go. I haven't really watched him in the night squad. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. I made it a point, once the whole, the Victor Wembanyama thing became a thing, I was like, all right, well, I kept hearing about Scoot. So I said, well, let me tap into Scoot. So when we had those back-to-back games of, Scoot versus Victor Wembanyama, everyone was watching Victor Wembanyama. I was watching Scoot. I was like, okay, let me see him against Big Vic. And I just really liked his game. So then I kept watching him after those 2 games against Victor Wembanyama's team. And I was like, oh no, this is legit. And I have a video on this channel that was really talking about like, yo, you could low-key make a case for Scoot Henderson being more NBA ready today than Victor Wembanyama, because of the trend of, shooting guards that are masquerading as point guards. And Vic and Scoot looks a lot like those players. But he ain't. He a real point. I can't wait to watch him play either. He's got the potential to be that next guy up. Like Derrick Rose to Russell Westbrook to Ja Morant. Scoot could be the next guy in that lineage. Now, the great thing about it is he's already trying to add the 3-ball right now by working with Steph Curry. If he adds that to his game, I'm not even asking him to be Steph Curry. Like, I don't need you to be 40% from 3. I mean, hell, Trae Young was supposed to be the next Steph Curry. He's like low 30s in 3-point percentage. If Scoot can be league average 35, 34, 35, 36% from 3, game over. Unstoppable. Absolutely unstoppable. Barring injury, barring any Ja Morant or no Zion bullshit off the court, unstoppable. Absolutely, positively unstoppable. He is that nice. I can't wait for people to realize what he is next year. He is going to embarrass a lot of people next year. There's a lot of people that are in this league that are thought to be him. When Scoot come to town, you're going to realize they ain't him. All right, let's see what we got. Anything new from Woj? Is he dropping any Woj bombs early? Don't see any bombs yet. All right, so I think I'll take that. Yeah, I think I'll take that cue to roll up out of here. Yo, be sure to pull up tonight. At 7:55, we're going to watch this draft together as a family. Yeah, Untamed, the 35 is nice. 35 is a real nice percentage. Be sure to pull up. I got an appointment at 6 out here in the East, so I got to make a run now. But I will be back in time to be here with the NBA draft with y'all tonight. So I will see y'all at 7:55 if you can. If you cannot, then you'll be able to catch the replay of it whenever you want at your leisure on the live tab of my YouTube channel. So I appreciate y'all for pulling up. I'll catch some of y'all in about an hour or so, and I'll catch some of y'all hopefully tonight or tomorrow or whenever. Salute, and I appreciate y'all for pulling up, tapping into Timeline T. I am the Sam D. Sam Duzume Jr. Peace. Appreciate you, Untamed.